me get some music while I get everybody on and get this party going. Hi, Aaliyah, JSB. How are you guys doing? I'm trying to get music. I'm not that good. I don't even know what I have on here. Uh-oh. The highlight of my Thursdays. Thank you, darling. Thank you, Aaliyah. You know you love when family makes you feel so good because they just come up on here and just let you have it. I'm going to forget the music because it's been crazy. But it is 8 p.m. and it's Thursday. Welcome to another edition of Conversations with Boss Ladies. I am so excited about today because this week has just been insane. Tusi, I hear you. We're all just at home waiting for Corona to slow down, seriously, because it's too much. It's way, way, way too much. But we're going to wait for people to come on. And, hi, Says Monique. You know she's got to come on and support the sis. It's just been crazy. So I don't know about you guys, and Nadia faithfully always joins. Nadia, I think I sent you an email, or I should be sending you an email because I need you on here. I need some information from you, girl. Nadia is in the office of the president in Ghana. She's the deputy director for diaspora affairs. She's responsible for so much, her and her team. And even now, I can't wait to get her on to hear about some of how we can get some lessons learned from what Ghana's doing as well. Zwana, my brother, Rob from Ghana, Central African Republic, Peter Cole. Oh, wow. Okay. 365. I'm Fly. Kiki, I see you. So this week has been crazy. So many people know that I actually spent a lot of my years in the entertainment industry. And this week we've lost a legend, an icon, someone who probably is responsible for an important part of many of our lives on here, or, during the 90s and 80s, responsible for many careers. We lost Andre Harrell. So that was just crazy. In fact, it's still crazy because Andre's legacy will live on forever through some of your most loved entertainers and business executives and legends, living legends in the music industry. Puffy, Jodeci, Mary J. Blige from Uptown Records. So, I mean, it was definitely a sad day. And I'm sending so much love to the music business, the hip hop R&B music business, and just really, really, feel bad. The same day we hear of Little Richard passing away. So it was a crazy week for music, Black music. So, everybody just find your peace, find, how you keep on moving, because it was definitely tough. And but we did have some good news because our Stevie Wonder turned 70, and I'm such a huge Stevie Wonder fan. I think Liberians are Stevie Wonder fans. Many of you may not know that Stevie Wonder actually wrote the song Liberian Girl. So yeah, there you go. I see Sidiki Bilite on here. Client, Green Petroleum, they're doing great stuff in Liberia. Lisa Sellers, O'Neill Roberts, Rosie's on here. Brenda's back on here. Murder Mook is on here. I see you, Mook. So thank you guys for joining. I'm so excited. I have to give you guys what I think. Oh my God, Edith finally joined. It's about time, considering I got blasted earlier. But Edith is like my sister. My cousin Nima's on here. Carton's not going to be on here because he has to keep the kids at bay today. So yeah, so I can talk bad about him and it's okay. And if anybody tells him, hey, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he did write that song. But so this is my thinking with what's happening with coronavirus. And, I freak out. I think I'm probably overly paranoid. It could be the mother in me or, what have you. But what I realize with precaution for coronavirus. Hi, Tina. Say happy birthday to Shania. One of the kids' BFF's mom is on here. And I think it's really important that you do what you can do to protect you and yours, because not everybody understands or takes the virus as seriously as you do. So just from what I see, I think that we all have to just do what we can to protect ourselves, our families, our loved ones. I think that that's a really, really important. And so we see a lot of countries and a lot of places opening up, but you do what makes you feel comfortable. You do what makes you feel good. I encourage more and more to continue to wear those masks. I disinfect my under bottom of my feet when I come home, even though I take off the shoes. Just constantly just disinfecting everything. Okay, the legendary Rock Wilder is on here. I know you guys know the Grammy Award winning producer Rock Wilder. He just joined. Hi, Rock. So I just want you guys to just, that's something that just keeps coming up to me. And as I go around and I see that some people are a lot more laxed and some people, take it more seriously. That's what we do. I can't stand Rock. This is, I used to manage Rock Wilder, in my music industry days. And so we're like family. So they give me such a hard time. But anyway, Kidar's on here. Cheers, cheers, and cheers, and cheers, and cheers. I need this. I'm going to toast to you guys, and we're going to wait for Nicole to come on. But I want to hear some of what you guys are doing, how you feel about what's happening. And as we move on, Nicole is an amazing person. If you have questions, please, I know, toast, Mook. Please, the question box, send me questions. Let's see how we can take it. We don't have a lot of time, but, we want to get in as much as we can. So here we are. Toast. There's nothing like some good wine, guys. There's nothing like some good wine. And here we go. I'm going to see if Nicole is on here, and I'm going to bring her in. I haven't seen her come on, but I know we were laughing because she was like, I don't know how to do this thing. So I'm going to try to see if I can bring Dr. Nicole. Dr. Nicole, I don't see you. I don't see her yet. Monique, can you tell Nicole to come on? Her sister's on here, so I'm going to use her as my production assistant for now. But yeah, tell me how you guys are doing. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what's happening. Let me see flags and thumbs up. Let me see flags to where you are. Or, send me notes to where you are. Put in, the comments. Where are you? What part of the world are you in? What's happening? What's happening? Ooh, hi. Oh, hey. From Kenya. We never connected. We are still due for a connection. I can't with you, Ralph. Oh, Nicole is on. I see her. I'm going to bring her in. And let me tell you, she is still working. So I appreciate her giving me the time. Okay, Nicole, I see you, but I can't see how to bring you in. Okay, let's see something. I'm learning this thing. Hi, Faith. Okay, NYC, Nima. Maryland. I know LIB is on here. I don't need y'all to tell me. I can see that. Nicole, I see you. You may need to request going on live with me, because normally I can just go on here and just bring you in. Hey, my little brother, Brad from Ghana. Akwaba. Brad and Nadia, they're repping Ghana. Okay, I got to try to get Nicole, guys. I'm sorry. Bear with me. Last week I had music, now I don't. Okay, go live with Nicole. There we go. I'm going to use this other phone here. Let's see. It's connecting.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Nicole. Okay, see, we're not about to have bad internet connection today, because last week it was, okay, there we go. Last week was not
No,
good.
we don't want the Teddy Riley. We don't want the Teddy Riley version.
I had a Teddy Riley last week, girl. It was bad.
We want the baby face version, please.
Yes, we definitely we want the baby face version. There you go.
We want the baby face Jill Scott version.
Yes, because that was sick. That was amazing. So, Nicole, you have some patients on here too, or I should say some patients, mamas and stuff on here.
Hi, Mom.
So everybody, please, please, please welcome my little sister, someone who I've just grown. Our families probably known each other for forever, but in the past, probably 3, 4 years, we've built our own relationship. And this is a young woman that I have so much respect for, probably one of the most well-rounded people that I know. And she trusts me enough, so we have a lot of our girl gossip sessions, which I will never share. But has been responsible for keeping me sane in Liberia because, as you all know, I have toddler triplets. And Dr. Nicole has been my saving grace and many others. The funniest thing is I posted that you were coming on, and Anna Scott, who's an older woman, she was, oh my God, Barkue, I went to go and see her. She was like, you're right, I love her. I was like, I don't even know how she does it, but she's managed to, she's managed to get a staff. Now, to understand, I'll give you a little bit of context. We have some amazing people in Liberia. They mean well. They want to do well. There's just a lot of limitations. And sometimes, I have friends who I admire because they have found a way to get into their psyche and hold them accountable to deliver at a specific level. And in the healthcare delivery industry in Liberia, it's, bedside manners is like, it's almost like it never existed. We don't know if it's ever coming back. We don't know what's happening, but Dr. Nicole, as I like to call her, has done such an amazing job with Jamali. And we're going to Nicole, I'm going to come to you and let you get into all of that. I just want to give them a little bit of history in case, we don't like to read too much, but, she got Harvard up in that resume, people. Harvard. Yes, there's some Harvard. Nicole actually came to Liberia during Ebola. Don't ask why, because she's the crazy woman that will do something like that. But that's just the level of commitment that I think Nicole has for her, willingness and her obligation to serve. And since she's been in Liberia, she has been so instrumental in so many people's lives and so many of the different medical facilities. And, now, from Redemption Hospital, and to understand redemption is a place that, for those of us who are used to maybe U.S. medical facilities or, even JFK in Liberia, Redemption services a large underserved community, and they probably do the best job at it. I know I always direct when people want to donate, I always say Redemption, because I find that for some reason that facility knows how to handle and manage when they get donations and things. So I will turn it over to Nicole to give her a little bit more of what she is, but please welcome Dr. Nicole. Hey, mama.
Thank you. Hi. Okay, so before we get started, are we toasting?
Yes, let's toast. See what I love her? Love her. Champers. She was like, I got the champagne.
So I must confess, it was supposed to be Champers, but Champers was not in the fridge. So it's actually lemon soda water. But hey, it's in good crystalware, and that's what counts. That's what counts, right?
Nicole,
Cheers.
you know what? I was looking forward to the champers.
So was I, to be frank.
But this is a toast to you, because you guys on the front line, honestly, I think that's just it. I think people appreciate doctors, nurses, medical professionals more than we ever have right now. So thank you, and thank you. Now, before we dig deeper into Nicole, because you see she's cute, right? We're going to find out if she's single or not. So we'll get into that part. But yes, girl. See them eyes? Okay. I may get that text on the side. But Nicole, tell us about, what led you to medicine?
Oh, wow. I always jokingly say I think that my mom brainwashed me when I was very little, because I'd never have a memory of saying anything else. And when I ask her, she says, that's what you always said. So I have a feeling that she said it, and then I said it, and then I just went with it. But as the Lord would have it, it was right for me. So that's great. My mother's been extremely instrumental in my entire journey. She's a great life administrator, if you will. And so she really probably brainwashed me, but then certainly guided me along the way in the path of her brainwashing. And it's worked extremely well. I don't falter for it. I encourage parents to do the same. It worked great. It worked great. I must correct one thing though, because I don't like to take credit where it's not due. I was not here during Ebola. It was heart-wrenching for me. I was completing my residency at the time. I had very strong conversations with my residency director. And for those who don't know, Dr. Nicole is a double doctor. So I'm an internist, which is adult medicine, and I'm a pediatrician as well, which is pediatric children's medicine, right? So I had some very heartfelt conversations with my training director at the time about feeling the need to come home. And this was the assistant director at the time. She's Haitian. And she understood the feeling. She had done the same thing after the earthquake. But at the same time, it's a training program. So you leave and you could lose your spots. There's so many things that could happen. And, she said she understands where I'm coming from, but that if I left, I would be on leave of absence. The entire duration would be added to the end of my training program. And there was not a complete guarantee that my position to finish training would still be available. So I had to make that hard decision. That being said, even at the time, I was planning my transition back, which happened shortly thereafter. So, yeah.
Nice. So when did you end up back in Liberia?
I was moved permanently back in Liberia in September 2017. I didn't quite quit my job and leave, but I wasn't far from quit my job in the States and leave. I decided that I wanted to transition back to Liberia. Thankfully, being a doctor can be fairly flexible. So what I did was I changed my status from full-time to part-time with the intention of going back and forth. And I landed in Liberia, and 2 weeks later, I had a contract. So that was the end of the back and forth. I went back to the States. I served out the last month of which I was on the schedule working, and packed up and moved.
Well,
that was it.
Just like that. So the commitment,
here's the thing. Here's the funny thing about the just like that. Many people realize that my accent is confused, mixed up all over the place. And that's because I grew up in Ghana. I didn't grow up in Liberia, and I didn't grow up in the States. So for me, moving to the States was never an emigration, if you will. It was me going to school. I was probably done with undergrad before I stopped saying that I lived in Ghana. People ask you, where do you live? I was in St. Louis at the time. Where do you live? I said, I live in Ghana, even though I was going home once a year. But in my mind, I was only there for school. So I didn't,
I can hear. I hope you guys can hear that Ghanaian accent come out right now. I mean, I hope you guys can hear it, okay? Because I hear it.
I think it was probably 5 years before I accepted the fact that I actually lived in America. I wasn't just schooling in America. I actually lived in America. But even 15 years later, my plan was never to stay. It was there, school, and then back. It's just that the school part was school and more school and yeah.
More school, yeah. So, That's why you're the doctor. I have a question that was just asked by one of the followers, and that really important question is, how are you all, the frontliners, the superheroes right now, how are you staying sane in the midst of, helping everybody navigate, this coronavirus pandemic? How are you staying sane?
So first, I would say it's not easy. There's definitely some emotional fatigue, even more so than the physical fatigue. It's not easy. It is emotional when people are sick, when when people are very sick. It's very emotional when you are in quarantine, when others are in quarantine, and you are still working. So for me, a lot of people are like, I'm so bored. I'm gonna take up baking. I'm gonna take up this, and I'm like, my work has tripled. My work has tripled. So for the foreseeable future, my work will be at least double to what it has been. Apart from my work as clinical director at Jamale and my clinical work seeing patients, I've also, because I love to do extra things, I in February became the chair of the Healthcare Federation, which is the private sector healthcare federation. We are the official private sector counterpart to the Ministry of Health.
That's amazing.
So because of that, immediately the preparedness for COVID started. The minister asked me to join the IMS meetings, the preparedness, the response. So since then, I've been working 2 jobs.
Wow.
And obviously, when it turned from preparedness to response, that second job became increasingly demanding, but it's extremely fulfilling. I don't complain about it at all. It's extremely fulfilling. And that's one thing that helps with the sanity. The other thing that absolutely helps with sanity is that medical training is grueling. Medical training is grueling. So we are used to some level of lack of sleep, sleep when you can, sleep standing up, don't sleep at all, work 2, 3 things, juggle your mind, check on the patients, go back and write the report. We're kind of used to juggling a lot. I haven't had to do it in this intensity in some years,
Yes.
but we're trained to really be able to juggle intense things. You know, I'm thankful that medical training can get you through a lot. You know, there's a time when I used to say, is this, you know, is something difficult for a doctor or is it difficult for a civilian? You know, that's kind of how I look at it. It's like,
Yes.
medical life and civilian life, you know.
Right.
So yeah.
That I Tina, who happens to be on here, and I follow her on Instagram. Her kids are friends with my kids, and I'm like, how are you at the hospital 24 hours a day, and then the next time I see you with your kids, like, how are you even staying sane? So I think you're right. I think we don't understand. I think a lot of us don't understand that part. We probably watch Grey's Anatomy, but we don't understand the level of training that goes into how one must prepare, not just the as Liberian men say, the book knowledge, you know, that all of what's in the book, but that mental, physical, you know, training
Absolutely.
that you have to go through, especially when you get hit with a pandemic. You know, I mean, that's not trained. You're not trained for that unless you're, you know, that. So it's and then now you're in Liberia. You know, that comes with its own sets of challenges. You know, speaking of, I'm just curious. You know, not everybody can get to hospitals. Not everybody can get to, you know, and right now, maybe everybody can't even get tested. You may not even know who to call. I went on Google and I was like, you know, symptoms for coronavirus. And I saw on Google that they have where they give you certain things, you know, that you can do. But what can you say to us and say, you know, if you feel this, and this, call. If you feel this, and this, isolate at home. Like, what are you saying to us? What should we know?
Okay, so first thing that you should know is that there's a short code for this because we love technology. *747 *19 hash. *747.
In Liberia, because
that is a Lone Star. That's Liberia,
okay.
MTN Lone Star.
Okay.
Short code.
Okay, the short code.
*747.
Well, it's star what?
*747 *19 hash.
747 *19 hash. Okay, I will put it up also. Okay.
And it will take you through interview questions.
Okay. It
will take you through interview questions to find out if you are having symptoms. But the bottom line is, you know, I created a triage sheet for Jamali. And the way we did that is we looked at WHO. What is the WHO recognized definition of COVID-19? At this point, if you are having any respiratory symptoms with a fever living in Liberia, you need to get tested. If you are having severe fatigue and fever, body aches, even without respiratory symptoms sometimes, as an adult in Liberia, you probably should be getting tested. A lot of people are pushing their symptoms aside. Oh, it's just malaria. If you think it's malaria, get a malaria test. If your malaria test is negative and you are still feeling that, go and get tested. There are a lot of people, because malaria is so common, people say, I know what I feel like when I have malaria. I know it's malaria. I'll just take the medicine. Now is the time you can't be sure it's malaria. So now is the time that you need to be sure if it's really malaria, because the 3-4 days that you lose by treating that malaria could be the 3-4 days in which you went from having normal oxygen levels to abnormal oxygen levels.
Right.
You went from an uncomplicated case to a serious case. So especially if you're over 65, especially if you have conditions, you have asthma, you know, you're prone to pneumonia, you have any lung conditions, you first of all should be staying home.
Right.
If you have any of those things I just mentioned, don't go out unless it's very necessary. Call Cook Shop, let them deliver your groceries.
Plug.
Don't be out if you don't need to be out.
Right.
Or, you know, call Flomo, let him deliver. Call somebody.
Right, somebody.
Let him deliver your groceries. The point is that don't take unnecessary risks. This is not the time to be sitting at your friend their house drinking beer under the tree. This is not the time.
Oh
The
my God.
time to
Just say
be
that
in
one
your
more
house.
time, please, because I'm seeing,
Yes.
on.
This is not the time for congregating.
Yeah, yeah.
This is not the time for congregating. This is not the time for a dumbbell shop.
Right.
This is not the time for that. This is
So,
not the time for that. This is the time to learn how to be home. Learn more about your spouse. Spend this time reading. So, you know, for those of you who don't have to work this much when you're home, pick up a hobby. Start to garden, because you know this is not the time for being out and being social. Get on Facebook, get on Instagram, get on House Party. Be social other ways,
yeah.
but don't be out mixing and mingling. Certainly not without a mask, please. And sorry, I have to give this one plug. Do not touch the front of your mask. 1 second, I just want to walk through this with you guys, please.
Go get it. Go get it. But
All right.
your mom is on here, so while you get your mask, I'm going to say hi to Vicky.
I have the mask. It's going to mess up my lipstick, but it's worth it.
Yes.
Okay, here's the mask. Put it on at the top.
Take notes, everybody. Pay attention.
And when you take it off from the side. Don't be in the streets doing this. Because everything that you're trying to protect from is on the outside of that mask. All the people that you think have coronavirus that you wore the mask to prevent, their coronavirus landed on that mask.
Right.
So do not touch it with your hands. Right. Touch it from the side, take it off. When you take it off, throw it away. Don't take it off, crumple it with your hand and put it in your pocket, because you just infected your hand. Put it in your pocket. Don't put it on your dining room table where your kid's going to run by and touch it. Put it in the trash can when you take it off.
So what do you say? What do you say about like the cloth masks that people are using now? So when we take those off, TJ's like, Thuggy, you too smart. But what do you say about the cloth masks that people are using? So because those were made to reuse. So how do you make sure that you protect yourself when you're using those masks?
Okay, the Spanish people say mejor que nada. It's better than nothing, but it's not equal to a medical mask. People look at these masks and they think, oh, it's just like a paper towel, it's just thin paper. It's actually not. It's 3 layers. One of the layers is waterproof or water resistant. The middle layer is actually an actual filter in there. So just because you have something covering your face doesn't make it equal to a medical mask. So I do not allow in my facility, and I do not recommend for any healthcare worker who actually is potentially at risk of higher risk, I would say, of being around someone with COVID, wearing a cloth mask. However, when you're walking around in the general public, for example, first of all, I recognize that these masks are not available everywhere. It's not always easy to get. So it's better to cover your mouth, even with your lapa, than to leave it exposed. It's some level of protection. That being said, when you're walking around appropriately socially distanced, there's only so much risk of anything landing on you anyway, right? Because you should be keeping a distance. The droplets shouldn't be that close to you. So that's a fair level of protection. We can't say exactly how much because these cloth masks are not tested, right? But it's a fair level of protection. One thing I see that defeats the entire purpose is, oh, the mask is too thick. I would take it off to talk, and we have just defeated the purpose. Because you took it off and did that, right? So leave it on to talk.
That's what I'm talking about you have to do what you can to protect. Because some people feel like they're going to hold a mask. They're too cute to wear a mask. It's not fashionable. And I think that, you know, I mean, I feel like I want to just replay this whole segment all over again, from the demonstration to the, you know, what this mask is and the difference of the mask, because people don't understand that. And so with the cloth mask, after use of a day, because the difference between the cloth mask and the mask you demonstrated with is you're going to keep that. The whole point is you're going to keep that mask. Do you, as she hand sanitizes?
I touched my face. So.
Oh my God, Nicole, you really are a gem. So this is so helpful. So should we wash those masks every day with soap and water every day?
Yes, every day. So a couple of things. First thing, what I just pointed out, if you touch your mask by mistake, you know, sometimes it's a habit. You touch your mask by mistake, clean your hands immediately. Okay. Recognize that you just dirtied your hands, clean your hands immediately. If you touch your face, clean your hands immediately. Yes, absolutely. Because like I said, once you take that mask off, you have to consider that it likely or possibly has coronavirus on it. So it should not go anywhere but into maybe a soaking bucket or into the laundry.
Okay.
I would actually recommend maybe have a small plastic bucket where you wash it every day. So as soon as you take it off, you get home, you take it off, you put it into that bucket with the soap so that it soaks, you wash it off. But also make sure when you're done washing it, you sanitize your hands again because you were just touching it while you were washing it.
Yes.
Every single day you must wash.
Wow.
Or you must change them. If you want to keep them in the the bucket for 6-7 days, well, that's fine. But you just can't rewear it the next day because you have to expect that it's now infected.
So what about some people say, some people say spray it with alcohol or wipe it down with sanitizer with the mask. Like, what do you say to that?
To that, I would say fabric is very woven. There's a lot of threads in there. I can't vouch for that. I can't vouch for that. I was recently reviewing the WHO guidelines on decontamination, and it's quite clear. Very hot water with detergent, 60 to 90 degrees centigrade with detergent or bleach. If it's going in a washing machine, 60 to 90 degrees with detergent in the washing machine. If not, hand wash with soap and water and then soak for 30 minutes in diluted bleach solution.
Wow.
It's that you can find instructions online of how to make the bleach solution. It's diluted enough that hopefully it won't destroy the coloring, because everyone knows they're so fashionable that it won't destroy the coloring. Yeah. But on the healthcare worker side, what I've told my staff is when they're outside of work, in a taxi and in a grocery store, wear the cloth mask. When you get to work, that cloth mask switches to a medical mask.
Got it. So I don't even want to tell you how helpful this is. And I don't know if you see all of the culprits who probably are thankful that we don't have coronavirus because we violated almost everything you said, from touching the mask to not washing the mask to putting it on the dining room table. I mean, if you all find this information helpful, if I can get your hand claps or your thumbs up going up the screen for Dr. Nicole, that would be great. Nicole, so tell us, for those, especially those that are in Liberia, I know you were very helpful with me on international insurance and worldwide insurance, but tell us about, the services that Jamale is offering, because some people on here actually have parents in Liberia, and people are in Liberia and they want to know, we all want to know, like, in case of emergency, what does Jamale first have an emergency, services? Do they provide emergency?
So Jamale has an outpatient clinic, as well as imaging services and labs. What we do not offer emergency services yet.
Yet is good. Yet is good.
Yes. So the closest thing to emergencies that we do is we offer imaging services to various hospitals. So we do have cases where a patient that's at another hospital will come by ambulance with their doctor under, difficult circumstances, emergency circumstances, get their study, get back in the ambulance and go back. But as of right now, because we don't have an inpatient unit yet, we don't do emergency services. That being said, I encourage everyone in Liberia to not wait until it's an emergency. Please take care of your health up front. Liberia, we have a long way to go on our what we call curative services, which means once it's broken, trying to fix it. We have a long way to go on that. So please don't wait till it's broken. Check up, see how you're doing. A lot of people come to me and they say, I've never had high blood pressure before. This is brand new. What is brand new was checking the blood pressure. It's been there for years.
Okay.
And we'll get an EKG, where we'll look at things and we'll see their condition, and we know that this thing is not today. It's been there for years. But if you don't ask the question, you don't get the answer. So I really, really encourage people, keep yourself together. Keep track of what's going on with you. And when you go to the doctor, ask questions. What am I being treated for? Number one question to ask. What am I being treated for? Because so many patients go to the doctor, they get medication, and they leave, and they have no idea what they were treated for. And I think the number two question should be, what do I do after this? So if I have typhoid, which is a Liberian favorite diagnosis, if I have typhoid, at the end of the typhoid, what should I do? Do I need to continue this medicine? Do I need to come back and follow up? What do I need to do after that? And then the number three tip is, if you don't understand what's going on, ask. Please ask. because we as doctors sometimes get lost. I try to avoid this. I've been told I'm fairly good at giving simplified explanations. But we as doctors, we trained for a long time. So it's been a long time since we spoke basic medical, like basic science. You know,
Right.
we are used to a lot of complicated words, and it's normal to us. When we hear it, we don't realize that that was a complicated word. It sounds very normal to us. So we can say a lot of things that might fly over people's heads. If you don't understand, you paid your money. Even if you didn't pay money, you are there to be treated. Make sure you understand. Say that one there, I ain't understanding.
Right.
Please.
Right.
Explain.
That's some power. She's speaking power to all of us. I don't care where you are, in America, in Ghana, and I don't care, in Liberia. We tend to all just accept and not understand, and we go home and we're completely lost by what our doctors tell us. So, all right, Dr. Nicole, all of this was wonderful, but like I said, this is good girlfriend conversation, because Cypher is like, can we get to the juicy juice? I'm sure you guys can see her. She cute. As Skylar would say, she cute. I'm cute. She cute. And that Skylar's like,
Skylar has gotten that far to saying all of that.
oh yes, your baby.
Skylar, we have to catch up.
Yes, girl. When I put you on FaceTime with them, it's just too much. But Nicole, as you can see from the comments, your information probably was more helpful than all of some of what we're seeing in the news, on Google. It was and by the way, everybody that wants it repeated, I finally learned how to do the YouTube thing, so I'm going to be able to. I'll share the link on how to watch the full video, and continue to get this information. And please share it, because it is very helpful. Just the simple things that we know just by, going to our doctors would be helpful. So Nicole, now I know how difficult it is, to try to be booed up in a country like Liberia, and, a girl who is educated and fine as yourself, especially now. What's going on with you, girl? What's going on?
There's no booing up in COVID, okay?
Oh, yeah.
COVID time is every person for themselves.
Oh, yeah.
There's no booing. If you weren't married before COVID, that's it. That's it. So COVID is hashtag no new friends.
But you know what? That's real. That is very, very real. Oh, really quickly,
no new friends.
Really quickly, because I would get beat down if I didn't. Well, let's talk about kids really quickly before we get back to more juicy stuff. Masks. My kids are really good, but somebody actually even asked, like, what should we do with the kids? I mean, we can keep them home, but how do we get them out? And what do you do with, is there a specific mask that you recommend for the kids?
There are the masks, the ones that I just showed you with the ties, could be easier because you can tie it to their size. But the ones that have the loops on the ears actually come in different sizes.
Okay.
Take a look at the box. They do come in different sizes. And N95 masks absolutely come in different sizes.
Perfect.
The N95 mask comes in small, medium, large. The small is usually for toddlers and below. So that's it. Worst case scenario, take a very cute little scarf. Just make them a little baby bandit.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. All right. Okay, kids. We like you. We got homeschooling. We good. Let's go back. So hashtag no new friends. So all you single, speak up. No, Nicole, there's got to be hope. I mean, I personally think you're a gem. I know, but what does that do? Because does that mean you go home and drink a ton of wine, but you don't even have time? You don't even have time for that. You forgot to even put your shampoo.
Why? What did Bill Cosby? There's always room for.
Girl, that's soda water. That doesn't count. That does not.
No, this is soda water, but champagne is definitely a necessary stock item in the pantry.
There you go.
Yeah. So, okay, you've tried to ask me like 3 times, am I single?
I know.
What I will say,
and
what I will say is,
I know the answer, but this is an interview, so there's people on here that don't.
Right. So in every government form I've ever seen, I've seen married, widow, divorced, and I'm none of those. So the only other option on that form is single.
With no new friends. With no new friends.
That's it.
And you're probably
I'm not married, widowed, or divorced.
You're probably the best new friend to have right now, because all of what you come with during this.
Yeah, I gotta be careful.
Yeah,
people trying to take advantage of me for my mask.
Wait, what? Your brother-in-law and your sister are like, we drink for her. She's my boo. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Cypher said, don't give us no political answers. We want the real deal.
Cypher the king, I am not a politician.
There you go. She said, she's curing, she's saving people. But what, Nicole, so, prior to COVID and all of this stuff, like, aside from everything else, like, what makes you happy? Like, what does self-care look like to you?
Self-care looks like a few things. Y'all don't hate me, but self-care looks a lot like weekend trips to Accra. Everyone knows I grew up there and I love Accra. So my Ghanaian friends, by the way, are always like, I need to get out of this place. And I'm like, relax. This is my New York trip right now. Please allow me.
Right. Right.
But self-care looks like a lot of things for me. It looks like regular manicures and pedicures. I don't take these things for granted. Like, my personal upkeep is very important to me. I'm not the Barbie girl. Like, you won't see me, on a daily basis with a lot of makeup on. I can beat my face now. When I want to put a face beat on, I can do it.
And I've seen.
But it's not a daily thing for me. But my nails, my feet, my hair, these are the things that keep me sane. An occasional pop into the jewelry store. Occasional bottle of Prosecco. Yeah, it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot. But also, I think the other thing for me, for my sanity, everywhere I've ever lived on my own, this comment doesn't apply to my mother's house because it was automatically amazing. I always say that my standard of living dropped since I left my mother's house, and I'm still trying to get back there. But every place that I've lived, I have worked to make my home an oasis. My home needs to be a place that when I walk into it, is the best option at any given time for where I can be.
There you go.
So if I'm in anyone's establishment or wherever and I'm not feeling it, I always know I have an amazing option at home. Whatever I need in my house, yes, it needs to be the way I want it to be.
Yes.
It needs to be the way I want it to be. So I think that also has really helped a lot. I've tried. I'm not 100% there yet. Liberia makes things challenging. It's kind of like a Japanese game show where you're jumping over hurdles, right? So Liberia's made it challenging, but I think I'm about 70% there.
Yeah.
I'm about 95% there on the elements that I can control within my house. But Liberia, it will show you the things that are not within your control. It makes that serenity prayer very, very real.
Oh my goodness.
So the parts that are not within my control is what gives that last 25% or so. I'm still working on them. I have some good friends who, have really learned how to spin the system, and I'm taking notes vigorously. And, we're going to try to jump on that last 25% of making the home oasis real. Yeah, my friends used to laugh at me because I did my residency, which is for non-medical people, is the most intense part of your medical training. I did it in Miami. So everyone thinks that, oh, you had a great time. And that was a lie. I did not see most of what everybody who came to visit Miami saw. But at least not till the very end when, things were calming down. But my home was exactly what I needed it to be. Overlooked the bay, everything I needed. So as soon as I get home, at least I can take a deep breath.
There you go.
I'm not the type of person that has a lot of patience, especially for the Miami scene, for a lot of the standing in lines for venues and things like that. So that wasn't me. My friends always knew that if we have to stand in a line and it's getting to 5 to 10 minutes of being in a line, Nicole's probably going to leave. Because all I'm thinking about, my house is so comfortable. Why am I standing here in heels? It's hot. Let me go home. That was always what I was thinking.
That's going to lead me to...
Hi, AC, 305 in the house. I see you.
She's so good. I love her. But this, so like I said, Nicole and I have had several conversations, and one of the things that I love about her is Nicole makes no apologies for what she wants and what she aspires to and for in life, because she works very hard. And a lot of times, a lot of women feel like they have to dumb down how fly they are or their value just because they want to be with somebody. And although there's no new friends right now, how do you how do you, because eventually new friends will come back, because Nicole likes, I can tell you, as much as she loves her home to be, and the champagne in the freezer and all of that stuff, she likes the good life. And sometimes you may, I can tell you, I'm sure it's difficult. And I mean, when I say the good life, I don't mean somebody who just has money, or when you meet somebody who just has money, somebody who understands, what that really means, the level of class and swag and what the good life really means. Because sometimes people with money are classless, and people with a lot of brains may not necessarily get it either. So how does a Nicole, even when before no new friends came in, how would Nicole select who to spend some time with, in a country like Liberia, where, Nigerians, they come with, they come with, let me not compare. Let me go back. I'm not going to compare. But Nicole, she has goals, the Rolex has got to be there. That first class flight is going to be there. And some people may be intimidated by that. So how does a Nicole manage with, the guys that she's encountered in Liberia prior to now?
So, first, I want to jump on one word that you said. People are intimidated by that. I don't like that narrative. I don't like that narrative at all. I've heard it from people before. Women like you are intimidating. Hazing is intimidating. I'm not intimidating. Intimidation is an active process that someone has to do to you. Insecurity is a personal problem, a personal process and a personal problem. I think that people need to make that distinction. And I don't like it when people put that label on women and say they are intimidating. No, they are successful. And people who have issues with their own level of success are insecure because of it. Now, that's not the fault of the successful person, nor should that ever be the problem of the successful person. So if someone's success makes you uncomfortable, that's work you need to do.
Yeah.
That's work you need to do. Mm-hmm. And I would have to say that if a man ever tells me that I am intimidating them, I know I'm not a mean person. I'm extremely approachable. And I know that. This is not between my own horn. I know I'm approachable. I'm very down to earth. People who don't know I'm a doctor don't ever guess that I'm a doctor. It's not something I throw around. I went to Harvard, but I don't drop the H-bomb around, So I don't do things to actively intimidate people. There's a lot more I could do, but I don't do things to actively intimidate people. So if someone were to ever tell me that I was intimidating them, or they felt that they were not good enough for me, they may be right. If you have that insecurity in you, then you may be right. You may need to work on some things then. But that's not a reflection of me. That's a reflection of them. What I will say though is that, and maybe they were so intimidated that they just didn't tell me, but I've not come across very many people who said that. What I will say, and here's a slight amount of shade, is that there's two things, right? There's either people who are uncomfortable about where they are. That means that either you may be at a good place, but you don't think you're at a good enough place, so you're uncomfortable, or you may be at a bad place, but not uncomfortable about it. Really? Now, so I will say that is the two cadres of people that end up approaching me. Either those who are actually genuinely in a good place and comfortable with where they are, or those who are in a bad place but also comfortable with where they are. So,
listen,
not insecure about it at all. Just rolling with the badness, and they're okay with it.
There you go.
It's very important, however, to learn how to distinguish, because they may show up with the identical level of confidence, much to my dismay.
Yeah.
They can show up with the identical level of confidence. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
watch out for
this. This is it, because I was going to say, I may use the word intimidating. They may not use it, but they may act out. And the only reason that you start to recognize why they act out in a specific way is eventually, once you start to figure it out, you learn that there was a level of intimidation by some of the things that they say, how they may try to make you feel. They won't necessarily say intimidating, because I think a man's ego most of the time will not allow them to own that they feel a little less than. The man would like to feel like, hey, L'Oreal, I know she in here, my friend L'Oreal, who's louder than me all the time, is in here snapping and giving high fives. But I'm like, so by the way, one last question, because our time is almost up and I don't want to get yes. See,
how's that time up?
Didn't I tell you how fast it goes? It goes really
goodness.
It goes really fast. So I'm told to ask you, would you be open when No New Friends opens up to go on a blind date?
So I would just like to say that my brother-in-law gave an excellent definition. New friends equals 2 recent negative COVID tests. Plus, for me, I would add plus a certificate of appropriate social distancing.
All right, everybody. This is.
Would I be willing to go on a blind date?
Would you?
That would be highly dependent on who was not blind, meaning who was setting it up, because you can't trust everybody.
But
the same way you don't eat from everybody's house.
Fair. I but it was TJ. Tanya J wants to know, and Maddie wants to know if you would go on a blind date. So maybe she has somebody in mind.
My sister TJ, I'll see her in chambers.
Thanks for allowing us to go to that chamber small, TJ. And happy belated birthday. So before we get cut off, everybody just, Nicole, I can't thank you enough, because I know how crazy you are right now with everything that's happening from, and of course your sister Nicole, Monique is like, I'm vetting, which means they're never.
You know how many people have said they're vetting? That other vetting committee will be very big. That's what will be intimidating.
Everybody but Monique, because I can tell you Monique is not having it. So, you are way
not at all.
So I can tell you.
She can be a one-man vetting committee. She's not about it.
Shut it down. So I want to say thank you, because I really do know how much, what you're going through. Last week, Nicole was like, oh my God, are we going on? That's how busy she is. They just, she is going full force, from private clinics to Healthcare Federation, to, you name it, to coronavirus response. And we thank you for all that you're doing. Your mom says she's vetting, for all that you're doing, all that you continue to do. And I'm going to turn it over to you to give shout outs and say any last words, anything that you want to say. And I really appreciate you. I think we all appreciate you on here. And you have about 3 minutes to just let it go.
Okay, so shout out to the entire vetting committee, which is about all 50 people right now. Everyone's vetting. Everyone on here is vetting. All right, well, where were all of you guys when mistakes were being made? That's what I want to say about the vetting committee. All this quality control was not happening.
Right.
Anyways, what I would say is stay safe, guys. Don't touch your mask. Don't touch your mask. Please, everyone's touching their mask. Stay out of crowds. Remember that your social distancing is only as effective as the social distancing of the people you allow to be close to you. So if you let someone be at your house, that person is bringing with them all their potential COVID, okay? This is how social networks are working right now. So be very, very careful. If other people are coming to you, maybe meet them outside, wear a mask. Someone who does not live in your household, you should really be wearing a mask when you interact with them. If they're not part of your household, you should really wearing a mask. And those inside your household, have conversations about your isolation behaviors. Make sure you are all on one accord. If you live with your brother or you live with your sister, make sure your sister is not doing things that you wouldn't do, because by exposure, you'd be doing them too.
There you go. So
please make sure that you do that. Wash your hands. Anytime you touch a public surface outside of your house, clean your hands. Assume there was COVID on it. Clean your hands. Clean your hands.
Thank you. There are more questions, but there's...
And also, I would like to say, just chin up, everybody. I know that COVID-19 is difficult. It's been very hard on businesses, but God is not dead. God is still around. He's still there. There's still hope. I know it's very, very difficult with businesses right now, but start making your business contingency plans. Think outside the box. Do things online. Can you teach whatever you do? Can you teach it online? Can you sell it online? Can you have it delivered? Can you branch out to a new business stream? Be creative. Woe is me is not going to help you.
Yes.
It's sad, it is difficult, but the woe is me attitude is not going to help you. So go online. There's so many creative things happening right now.
Yes.
How to help your business survive COVID. Make a plan, make a business contingency plan. If you don't know what that is, number one, that's a problem if you own a business and you don't know what that is. But number two, it's never too late. Get on the Googler.
There you go. They don't call her Dr. Nicole for nothing all of a sudden. Thank you, and thank you, because they're going to cut us off, and I don't want that. I need to be able to save this. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you next Thursday. Nicole, thank you. I will have to bring you back because there are other questions, and you